welcome back after the break. Ahead of the Parliament session starting next week, new rules for banned words in the Parliament. Use of terms like Jumla GV, COVID spreader, and Snoopgate, and even commonly used words like ashamed, abused, betrayed, corrupt, drama, hypocrisy, and incompetent will henceforth be considered unparliamentary in the Lok Sabha. According to a new booklet, these are the new rules that have been put in place, and opposition leaders, including the TMC, have slammed the new diktat. Now, we're joined by my colleague Pallavi Ghosh for more perspective on this. Pallavi, if I am to understand these rules, there's not a blanket ban on many of these terms, but the list states that some of the keywords may not appear unparliamentary unless read in conjunction with other expressions spoken during the parliamentary proceedings.
Well, see, so just to explain the backdrop very quickly, what really happens is that though the members of parliament do have complete privileges as far as freedom of speech is concerned, there have always been a list of do's and don'ts. For example, you cannot use a word which makes personal attacks on the judiciary for that matter, or on the president, which could harm your equations with a foreign country, so on and so forth. And, repeatedly, when we would know that at the end of the day of a debate or discussion or point of order which has been raised by a member of parliament, there's often a bulletin which comes out saying that so-and-so word has been expunged. And that could be on many grounds. I mean, a leader who the word has been used against may object to it, the party may object to it, and then it's a prerogative really of the speaker and the chairperson of Rajya Sabha to expunge those words. And this is also a repeated exercise, this is something which happens frequently, new words are added in. What really has upset the opposition is because they say that when you've added these words on, these are words which we often use against the government. For example, use of words incompetent, use of words like Jumla. And the reason why the government has gone in for the tweaking of the list of words is essentially because they want to once again silence the opposition and not allow them that freedom to attack the government by usage of certain words.
Pallavi, I just want to highlight one word. Words like sexual harassment are also considered unparliamentary and would not be included as part of the record. So, are these some words that the opposition is taking, have problems with? Because how else do you say sexual harassment? You can't find another synonym for that.
And then also I'll explain to you that there's a context for it. I remember the last session, there had been an instance of a member of parliament from the opposition, and if I remember correctly, right, it's someone from the Congress party who had actually attacked the Madhya Pradesh BJP government by saying that how the tribals are targeted there, how the downtrodden are targeted there, the women are targeted there, and they often face sexual harassment at work, and the government is doing nothing about it. There was a huge uproar over it. And I remember Smriti Irani had objected also to it by saying that you cannot loosely use these words just because you want to make a political point against your opponent, which happens to be the BJP in this context. So I guess that's also one of the reasons why this word could find its way into the list of the unparliamentary words. What essentially happens is that it does not go into the records. Why does it become important for any MP to have his words in their record is that when you look at the archives, when you go back for research, it's documented. And that's
all right. Pallavi, just request you to stay with us. We're also being joined by Wiswajit Deb from the TMC. Good morning to you, sir. The TMC has taken objection to the list that has been released, saying that a lot of terms that are commonly used in the sessions at the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are now declared unparliamentary. But also, there is a caveat saying that it depends on the context in which you use it. So, is your objection a blanket, objection, or will you now try to circumvent these rules?
You see, this is another instance of the Modi government bulldozing their opinion and bulldozing whatever they want to say, whatever they want to do. They are just doing it arbitrarily, without consulting the opposition, without consulting anybody. They are doing it on their own and whimsically. This is a glaring instance of how the Modi government bulldozes the rules. Now you suppose the word Jumla. If you cannot use the word Jumla in its proper perspective, will it be right? When it is a Jumla, you must say it's a Jumla. And if that is unparliamentary, then how can you express your opinion in a democratic system? In Parliament, an MP is entitled to express their opinion freely. It is the voice of the people. Until and unless the words used are totally unparliamentary, which is objectionable, which cannot be used in a civil society, then it's okay. You definitely cannot use it, and we are not going to use those words. But the simple way of placing our objections, the simple way to oppose certain views, if that is also curtailed, you can understand the way, the arbitrary way, how the Modi government bulldozes their opinion. This is a glaring instance.
All right, sir, point taken. Now we're also joined by Majid Memon of the NCP. Good morning to you, sir. Some of the words listed as unparliamentary include coward, corrupt, ashamed, words that are used in everyday life. So also the opposition parties, many saying that these have been chosen very carefully because these are the words used by the opposition party a lot of times to slam the government.
Well, good morning first to all your viewers. I must tell you that as far as the use of language is concerned, undoubtedly we would stand by good ethics, good conduct in Parliament. Disorder should be avoided. And our leader Sharad Pawar has always been even speaking against the disruption in Parliament, etc. But at the same time, when you talk of use of words, you see, tempers run high. At times we see that things are even flying, thrown at the chair and all that. The disorderly behavior needs to be condemned and controlled. That's no doubt on that at all. But as far as the use of words are concerned, whether it is Hindi, English or any other language, it cannot be decided by Prime Minister himself. It has to be decided by an expert committee of literary persons, experts on the language. They would interpret and examine the meaning, interpretation of a particular word, whether it is in Hindi or English, and then decide whether it could fall in the category of unparliamentary or parliamentary. And you see, for your viewers, if you give me half a minute, I must tell you one very interesting thing, that in the court, when there is a disorder and when the learned judge tells a lawyer that don't behave in an unparliamentary manner, so the lawyer retorted that, sir, as a matter of fact, we can't behave in a parliamentary way. You see, this is what is happening in our houses, both the houses, Lok Sabha as well as Raj Sabha. So therefore, there is a need to have a proper guidelines as to which behavior, which word would become unparliamentary. For that, in-depth study is to be done by the experts. This can't be decided by 3 or 4 union ministers.
All right. So let me take that question across to Tom Varakan from the BJP who joins us. Good morning to you,